A drab, dreary 0-0 draw at Old Trafford could be used as a potential cure for insomnia, but within the game, a number of tactical deficiencies contributed to this. But before we look at the tactical facets of the game, first let's look at the game stats. Nothing in the stats really pops out, but in a game which saw the team share possession, United had 8 more shots at goal than Chelsea, which did reflect, if anyone was going to score, it was United. On the tactical side of the game, I'm going to concentrate on why United couldn't press Chelsea in midfield, United's inability to gain the tactical advantage over Chelsea's wing-back system, and the lack of high press. Before I look at why Manchester United couldn't press Chelsea in midfield, let's look at the midfield scenario United faced against Newcastle and PSG. As you can see on the whiteboard, United were matched up in midfield in both games. This allowed United's midfield to get close to the opposition's midfield and press aggressively. As a result, United were able to break the play up in the middle third and start attacks off from there. Both Newcastle and PSG really struggled to play through United's midfield. Now going to the Chelsea game, their formation, in particular the positions of Havertz and Pulisic, stopped McTominay and Fred pressing aggressively against Conte and Jorginho, and they got stuck in the middle of the quartet. Maguire and Lindelof couldn't step out and deal with Havertz and Pulisic because they were occupied by Werner, making Fred and McTominay hold their positions in front of the back four to restrict the space Pulisic and Havertz had to operate in. Because McTominay and Fred were forced to hold their position in front of the back four because of Havertz and Pulisic, they could only react when the ball was played into Chelsea's midfield, opposed to anticipating it, and they were always a yard off getting to Conte and Jorginho, and couldn't break up the play in the middle third as they did against Newcastle and PSG. Even though United created the better opportunities in the game, Chelsea's ball retention and ability to play through the field was stronger, and it was because Fred and McTominay were not able to get close enough to Conte and Jorginho. I have to point out, Fernandez's work rate was significantly less than what we saw in the last 2 games, and did nothing to help Fred and McTominay in dealing with the conundrum Chelsea's midfield formation posed United. Now let's look at how to gain a tactical advantage over the wing-back system. It's quite simple. You push the wing-backs back and turn the back 3 into a back 5, and from there it makes it really difficult for the team with wing-backs to get out and up the field. But to achieve that, you need attacking potency in wide areas to force the wing-backs back, but United don't have any, which meant Chilwell and Reece could play up the field, and to defend the full-back areas, all it took was Azpilicueta and Zuma to step across slightly because United plays so narrow. Lampard, when deciding on this system, would have known the probability of United attacking this space and pinning his wing-backs back were low, because United only have inverted wingers and full-backs that contribute nothing going forward. To put a visual on this, looking at the heat maps, you can see that United's wide players barely enter these areas, and the only player who does is Wan-Bissaka, who has 0 quality on the ball. Looking at the heat maps of James and Chilwell, you can see how much time they spent in the United half and how much of an impact they had on the game going forward. This is all because of the lack of attacking potency in wide areas for United to pin those wing-backs back and make them defend. The most disappointing aspect of the game from a United perspective was the lack of high press and how United's front line dropped back into midfield and gave Chelsea free possession at the back. Not only has Chelsea's defensive organisation been poor, but they have also made lots of individual errors, and I fully expected United to put Chelsea's centre-backs under more pressure. It could have even cost United the game. With Thiago in acres of space, from that quarterback position, he started spraying the ball around the field, out to James, Chilwell, and was even slipping balls between the lines to Havertz and Pulisic. It didn't come to anything, but Thiago's passing was getting over and through United's defensive structure. I'm amazed Ollie didn't tell Rashford to get on Thiago to make Azpilicueta or Zuma play out from the back, who are not as good on the ball, and United may have got some cheap possession back through poor passing. The devil's verdict is, Ollie could have forced the issue more by pressing as high as they did against Newcastle and PSG and put Chelsea under more pressure. I'm not a Solskjaer fan, but I can understand why he was cautious, because if United had lost against Chelsea, Leipzig and Arsenal, which could easily have happened, Ollie would be looking down the barrel. The biggest positive that came from the game was the 3 games in succession, can't run, won't run, were left out of the team. And when won't run came on, it wasn't for Fred or McTominay, so we can consider can't run, won't run dropped. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the analysis and what you thought of the game. As always, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video.